Alright, welcome back. So we are continuing our Planks tournament playthrough, and here we're going to tackle provinces 21 to 50 with snapshots at every 10 provinces, so after 30, 40 and 50 to see what kind of losses did we sustain. We'll look at variability of losses and we'll see if any of the matchups what we haven't seen in the previous video. But you haven't watched the first part of that, so Planks tournament provinces 1 to 20, then you should watch this first, because that's where you, or at least I talk about the matchups, the general setup, the setup of the city, boosts, just about anything you need to know. And here we'll just try to run quickly and see what kind of losses we're going to sustain in provinces 21 to 50. So with that, let's just get going. So that's the Orcs matchup. Actually, this one, I think in the previous segment I showed that you may want to go the Orc strategist here. On this one, I kind of tend to alternate, depending on the mood, I guess, between Orc strategists and the golems here, actually, because at one point in time, you start seeing higher losses here on Orc strategists, and that's where I substitute for golems, because I want to conserve my Orc strategists. But again, these are not super common matchups, so that's... again, you can go either way. That's one of the two matchups for the Frog Princess. And as you can see, they do relatively well here. So 5% or so, and that's that might even be on the higher side, I'd say. I'd say it's about average. Sometimes you get less, but sometimes you get a bit more. Okay, Orc strategist with 2 counter units. Okay, I'd say that's definitely on the higher side than I would normally see or expect here. So here I think we got almost 20% losses. That's a lot for this tournament. But usually we'd see less than that. Okay, so that's less than 10% for sure. That's fairly representative, I'd say. Again, 1 counter unit, 1 light melee. About 5-ish, a bit more than that probably. Maybe 7, again, fairly representative. Counter units again. About 10, maybe less. Fairly close to what I would expect. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 matchup, and again, that's about, well, less than 10, more than 5. Let's call it 7. Probably close to what I expect again. Okay, that's definitely, again, certainly happens on the better side than you would normally expect. This should do fairly well. Yep, almost no losses. And here we should have some losses, and we do. So let's say maybe 10% or so. Okay. More strategists. 5, 6, maybe 7% at most. Fairly representative again. 5 to 10. So I'd say 5 to 10% when you're using Orc strategist. That's definitely within the realm of expected. Yeah, again, between 5 and 10. And by the way, I'm not looking at the numbers, I'm just looking at the bars. So I'm not trying to calculate the number, I'm just looking at, hey, close enough. So between 5 and 10 again. That's good enough for that kind of assessment. Okay, so that's one of the frog princes. Still haven't seen, we've got to, and that's about 10%. And again, that's fairly representative. We still haven't seen this one matchup that I wanted to show. And we're already on province number 25, so it's... and I can say it's generally rare, because then you may get like several of those. And yeah, so here I just go, sorry, golems, even though I might as well go with work strategists. Yeah, so you see, like here with golems, we actually got maybe about 15%. With orc strategist, you might be getting 10% or so. That would be kind of expected. So yeah, depending on how much you value, like 10% golems versus, sorry, 15% golems versus 10% strategists, you can go either way. Like at that point in time, I have crap ton of golems. Well, I do have tons of strategists as well, but these are harder to replenish. Okay. Yeah, less than 10%. And again, less than 10%, so probably 7 or so. So far, pretty much completely expected, except that this one matchup that I still haven't seen. I did see quite a few of those when I was playing province well, not province, stage 1 or star 1. Okay, yeah, you see this one is definitely on the lower side in terms of the losses. That's this one matchup that we've seen so far that we use for princess for, and quite commonly we would get about 10% there, so probably more open field than that. And here we got barely any losses actually. So probably quite clogged terrain where our rocks were sitting behind the blockade and were just poo-pooing all the enemy troops until they were all obliterated. And that's how we'd like to see that. And again, that's definitely on the low side, way less than 5%. Okay, 27, 28. Still no sight of another Frog Prince matchup. I am actually very surprised by that. What happened? Okay, that's on the low side, nice. Oh, it's still staying on the low. Yeah, here we go, finally. Actually, province number 28 or 29, whatever, I'll check it. Alright, so here's what we see is actually 4 heavy melee units, or 4 technical counter units to our heavy range, and 2 light melee units. Okay, so here actually, despite of this being technical counter units, I go with Frog Princes. Even though they are, well, they're excellent of course against light melee, but there are 4 supposed counter units here. And let's see how it goes. Look at that, 4 counter units, and actually literally 0 losses in this case. Again, while you don't always get 0 losses exactly, but that's not far away from where you expect to. You definitely can expect 5% or so. So yeah, that's one of the, I'd say in the whole tournament system so far, probably the most, I don't know about unexpected matchup, but the unexpected result if you just go by nominal who is strong against who, because again, those guys are technically supposed to be good against heavy ranged, Yeah, that's not being good against heavy ranged, I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's that. So that's the second matchup for Princess, for heavy melee and for light melee. So all melee. And as you can imagine, all melee against all ranged is not great to begin with. When two of them are terrible against your units, like Frog Prince versus light melee, and the remaining four are terribly slow, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that you would expect. Okay, so finally we saw, so I think now we saw all the matchups what are out there. Yeah, it was pretty good. So let's check which province was that. So 28. So the first time we saw one of the matchups was province 28. So yeah, guys, check out this supplementary video. Sometimes you even get new matchups in there. Okay, and that's another one with 3 counter units. But now we have somewhat more of the light range here, and yeah, that's kind of like 5 to 10, probably 6, 7. Fairly representative. Again, you may want to go golems there if you want to conserve strategies, but that's your call. And that's golems. And nice. That's on the low side, I'd say, for this matchup. So very good. Well, yeah, that's pretty good. Again, not necessarily unexpected, but on the low side, yeah. And here comes our province number 30. Okay, another one of these 3 counter unit matchups. Oh, okay, so you see this one didn't quite go just as well, maybe a fairly open terrain or something, but we lost actually a little bit more than 20% of orc strategies. That does happen, definitely on the higher side than you would normally expect, but it can happen. And that's exactly the kind of reasons that if you are low on orcs, or for any other reason cannot produce orc strategists in sufficient amounts, that's where you may want to substitute in those matchups with golems. But we're gonna be okay. Yeah, look at that. Again, that's on the lower side, but not unexpected. Alright, was it 30? Yes, okay, so let's go check our losses. And for the provinces 21 to 30, we've lost 17 squads. Not too shabby. These are pretty low numbers as far as just about any tournament is concerned. Alright, but let's keep on going and see how it's gonna increase, because it will increase, obviously. Alright, that should be alright. Yep, pretty good. Here I'll go with golems again. Yeah, 15, as I said, that's kind of what you would expect in this matchup. Okay, that's again probably 15 or so. Not great, not entirely unexpected, but probably on the heavier side. Okay, that's one of the 2 Frog Prince matchups. And yeah, you see this time around was about 5, so we saw from 0 to 10. So 5 sounds about right. Okay. And more orc strategists who should do well. About 5, and about expected. Again, yeah, this one is again, one of the matchups that you may consider switching, especially if you go higher in stages or stars. to swap into golems, who would do worse here slightly, but again, might still be worth it. But you see, in this particular case, this one is a kind of variable matchup. Again, I guess because there's a lot of melee units here that are highly influenced by terrain. This time around, we barely sustained any losses. I mean, 5%, probably less than that. But I think in the same one, not a long time ago, we would be hitting almost 20. And look at that. Hey, here we go again. Now we're getting this Frog Prince matchups. And again, look, no losses at all. Nice. I don't think that's always the case, though. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. But it's pretty close, so that's a good matchup for the Frog Prince. Okay, and here comes another Frog Prince. Probably not as good as the other ones. Yeah, 5% or so again. That's close enough to the expectations. So this one is somewhat variable. So okay, about 5, a bit more, 6, 7. Okay, here we'll go with golems, maybe 15 again. Sort of, maybe a bit less, but yeah, pretty much what's expected. That's nice. On the low side, that's pretty good. Very low losses, below 5, I'd say. Oops. Okay, 34. Here comes another Frog Prince matchup. And again, about 5. So again, kind of expected. I can see more. I mean, we've seen up to 10, I'd say, in this matchup. Yeah, that's 5-ish expected. Same, about 5-ish. There goes Golem again. We see 15. Sort of. I think maybe even less than 15, but close enough. 10 to 15, I'd say. Okay. More strategists. These are pretty good losses for that. 5, maybe a little bit more. About 1 to 3. Yeah, these are like we're on a good stretch here. Fairly low, or lower than expected. I mean, they're all fairly low, but lower than expected losses, and that still is the case. How about the last one? Yep, well, that was a very good one. I think all 4 encounters were below 5% losses, which is pretty good. Again, keep in mind that's auto combat, so not really known for making the best moves, to say the least. But in this particular tournament, that is not as important as in some others, because the strategy here is usually fairly straightforward. Just stay back and poo-poo from the distance whoever is coming first. So that's where auto combat does okay. Most of the time, at least. Okay, 36. No, it's 37. And that should be okay. Yep, below 5. That's highly variable one. Let's see. Okay, that's kind of par for the course. Maybe below 10. Okay, that's the Frog Prince, the weird matchup. Not an obvious matchup, let's put it like that. Okay, but you see, okay, that's an excellent example of variability is still a thing based on the terrain, most likely. So if you remember the exact previous matchup just like that, we literally sustained 0 losses. I think actually 2 previous matchups we sustained 0 losses, which probably means the terrain was clogged. So against us, the purely light, all melee, heavy and light, which once they get stuck there, yeah, they just have no chance. But here we lost almost 20% for Frog Princess, which is a lot, all things considering. And in all likelihood, there was just very open terrain, maybe completely open, so the melee units, as slow as they are, they can still march forward, reach the Frog Princess and pummel them. Of course, it's also entirely possible that AI for the auto combat didn't help and march frogs forward while it should be just sitting behind. Who knows right now, but yeah, that's the kind of thing you may see. So between 0, literally 0, and almost 20% for the same matchup, definitely can happen. I mean, we've seen that before. Yeah, this one went much better. Okay, 38. More strategists. Nice. Kinda below average. I'm probably not gonna be amazing. Oh, it's actually not bad, so 10-ish, I'd say. Okay, 1, 2, oops, not this one. 1, 2, 3 matchup, we still go with the strategists. Okay, about 10, less than 10, more than 5. Expected. Okay, that's actually less than way less than expected. Well, yeah, I'll take that. That's nice. $39. More strategists. That went really well, but not unexpectedly so. Okay, this is again one of the highly variable matchups. And that's actually kind of average, so about 10. More strategists, no light melee, should be fine. Yep, it was quite alright. Hey, here is another Frog Prince matchup. We only saw starting province 28. Let's see. Yeah, and you see that's exactly it. So the very next matchup, just exactly the same. Previous one was almost 20%. This one is exactly 0. So yeah, the terrain impact or AI movement impact as well is non-negligible for sure. Quite a big difference does it make. Okay, what do we have here? Probably close to 20. Not unexpected for this matchup though. Yep, these are all kind of expected. Okay. More Frog Princess, not expecting 0 losses. Yeah, 10%, that's kind of expected. Oops, no, not those guys. That would be a terrible matchup. Light range versus our heavy melee is, yeah, is bad on so many different levels. So we're not doing that. Okay, and that's province number 40. So let's see how did we do in the provinces 31 to 40, so the next batch of 10. And not too bad, so we did lose 23 squads now. Again, not too bad. Not too bad at all. But we're not done yet. There's still 10 more provinces to go. 41 to 50, and let's see how that plays out. Nice. Okay. Yeah, these are all kind of expected numbers here in terms of the losses. Okay, that's on the low side. Nice. Lost very little there. Okay, about 5-ish. Yeah, I'd say that's expected, pretty much. And 42. That's our golem matchup. One of the two. Yeah, that's kind of expected. As you can see, like a lot of the stacks did take some damage, so overall, probably, I don't know, 15-ish or so. I'd say expected. Yeah, that's on the low side, very nice. Let's see how frogs are gonna do here. Very well, actually, this time around, so less than 5. Here we do expect less than 5. And we kind of did. Yep, that's less than 5. Again, against pure light range, even if you have excellent countermeasures, as in orc strategists, again, just purely because they will take the first shot, it's almost impossible to avoid some kind of damage. Might be very superficial, but you're gonna take it. Yep, that's pretty good. That's different than your opponent is a melee unit. That's where you can even expect to completely destroy them until they get to you, meaning you'll actually take exactly 0 damage. Okay, yeah, that's expected. And the initiative there is not going to help them because, well, while they may move first, they still need to, like, generally speaking, they wouldn't be closing the whole distance in one move. So you will be, if you're ranged, taking a first shot, which may or may not completely destroy them. Alright, this is pretty good so far. And more frogs. And again, like 5%, that's again kind of expected, maybe even on the low side. Here we do expect less than 5%. And yeah, that's... And again, here you see that's the matchup when we have both ranged units on both sides. Our heavy range versus the light range. Here the terrain will play minimal role. I mean, it will. Well, it probably won't play much because our range is so big. It would be very consistent. Unlike the setups where at least one side have melee units, in which case the terrain may play, as I mentioned already, a much more significant role, and variability around that would be quite substantial potentially. Alright, here come the golems. Okay, it's not too bad, about 15, maybe less even. Definitely expect it, and yeah, that's the same matchup again. And again, almost exactly the same. You see, like, even down to which stack is being damaged. So our central stack is getting damaged for a couple of percentage points. So it's basically the fight plays out exactly the same as in the previous one. Alright, okay, so we're done with 45. We are now on the last page, which is page 6. And let's see again. Yep, the same thing, just the central stack is damaged by about 2-3 or so percentage points. Here come the frogs. Okay, 5% expected. Yeah, close to 15. Again, pretty much par for the course. And this one was pretty good. Okay. Closing in. So, oops, not this one. So 1 to 3, we're going with strategists. Yeah, not amazing, but not unexpected. That's pretty good. We should do fairly well here. Well, 5, probably actually more than 5% there, so again expected. Fairly uneventful. Yeah, that's pretty good, I'd say on the low side. Definitely less than 5% here. 48. That should be fine. Yep, almost no losses. Here come our golem replacement. Yeah, this one was actually, I'd say on the low side, 5% or so. We often see up to 15% there, so I'd say 5% was pretty good. Not amazing result again. That's one of the higher variability ones. So here we are probably above 10, yeah, definitely above 10% for sure. And some more frogs, and yeah, right smack in the middle of expectations. Okay, two more left. Oops, not that. We are going with strategists. They do really well here, which was expected. And this one we expect again 3% or so. Yeah, right where we expect this. And that's a golems. Probably one on the lower side, so less than 10, I'd say. Okay, wow, that's almost 0 losses. That's definitely less than expected. But hey, I'll take that. And here comes the last province, province number 50. Oops, nope. 1 to 3 matchup, we are doing with strategists. Boom, very nice. Pretty low, I'd say, than anticipated. Yeah, that's roughly expected. That should do okay. Yeah, 5-ish. And this one is, oops, what happened there? Okay, yeah, not amazing, but not unexpected either. And that's that. I'll just double check. Yep, that's province number 50. And let's check what the totals are. Alright, so just the provinces 41 to 50, so the last 10, we did lose a little bit less than 28 squads. So just to remind that the progression we went was 12 squads for the first 20, and the next 10 was for 17, the next 10 was 23, and the last 10 was about 28. So that means our grand total for 52-star provinces in the planks was just a little bit less than 81 squad. That's an amazingly low result, which is great. And just to mention, so the whole 1 star, all 50 provinces, I've spent, let me see, actually actually exactly 50 squads. So 50 squads for 1 star, 50 provinces, 80, well 81 if you will, 1 squads for the 2 star for the grand total of 131 squads lost for to get to all 52 star provinces. I think that I'll have to double check what do we have. Actually, let me just see. I just want to compare with the steel provinces. Steel tournament, what we did last week. And let me check. Oh wow, it is actually lower than what we've got in the steel tournament last week. So in the steel tournament, to get to the same point, so all 50 provinces down to 2 stars, we have spent 150 squads, give or take. And here we effectively did it in 130, which is 20, which is not insignificantly lower number. That is amazing. That's, I think my previous playthrough of Planks tournament, where I would normally go much heavier on golems than on orc strategist, because again, I think that's the first time in a while that I'm not hard pressed on orcs in general and orc strategists in particular. So I went much heavier on a strategist here. With golems, yeah, I would be seeing higher losses than that. Well, I can probably tell you for comparison purposes. How much did I get the last time around? Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously that was like 9 weeks ago, but I was looking at close to 230 squads lost actually for the same 2-star 50 provinces. But that's when I went primarily golems rather than the orc strategy. So that is almost 100 squads lower than the last time around. I mean, there were a few other changes, but not that many. I mean, the primary other change would be a few more levels of the martial monastery, which is important and it helps. But actually in this tournament it's not as important, because again, you are not expected to take losses to begin with, ranged versus melee. I'm sure it did help, but not to that degree. So orc strategists do very well in this tournament. So that's sounds like it's my new, well, for how long it's gonna last, the easiest tournament in the whole lineup. So there's that. And with that, again, hit a like, subscribe, leave me comments, and I hope to see you next time. See ya.